Welcome to Mojo Talks, where we explore the world through stories. I'm Mayur Channagere, visual storyteller and your host.
Welcome back to Mojo Talks with Mayur Channagere. In the last episode with Sandhya, we spoke about
Engineering or medicine required a lot of commitment, which I was not ready to give because I wanted to dance. I thought interior designing would be very easy, but it didn't turn out to be like that. I would say he is the one person because of whom I'm dancing today. She went into depression because she could not handle the fame that she had already got. Now Ranga Pravesha has become an event that is not affordable by everyone. Dance was, I cannot even imagine being a dancer as a profession. The problem that I had there was they mentioned she was performing Bharatanatyam. Don't say that that's Bharatanatyam.
Sandhya. Welcome back to the second part of our conversation. There are also whispers in the corridors about nepotism, right? Which I really want to talk about that because I know that whether Giri or not, you as an artist hold your own ground, and there's only so much that connections or whatever can get you. What are your thoughts on that?
You said it right, the whispers are quite loud sometimes. So what happens is, what I really want to say here is definitely the exposure can be more, the visibility is more, but it comes with a package.
Okay.
The more visible you are also criticized more, right? And these kind of exposure can take you to the first step. The steps ahead is yours. If you are really able to climb it, you will. Otherwise, there is always a stagnant place where you will never grow. So I think your work should speak, and it's sad to hear sometimes because I have been on both the sides where as the third party watching other people and maybe adding to the gossips, but then when it happens to me, I do know that it's not always the truth. Unless you're really talented, unless you really have the stuff with you, it's Giri always says, if you have stuff, nobody can touch you. There is a limitation how much people can talk also, right? So they will talk unless it's like empty vessels make more the most noise, right?
Correct.
So I think it's in our hand how we take it. I sometimes take it as an inspiration. Okay, you talk, I will prove. It's like that.
That.
So I think it's a way we take it and how we want to handle it.
Like you said, right? That might just give you the first step. The
Absolutely.
end of the day, it's up to
Yeah.
you to prove
Yes.
the worth. But in a way, if I look at it, generational nepotism, let's call it, okay? If we are able to inspire our kids to take any art form, for that matter, forward and keep it alive, grow it, so be it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because we know for a fact that many fantastic artists, the art form or this thing has just died with them because the next generation didn't want to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Right?
quite scary.
I'm sure you'd have seen it
Yes.
up close.
Yes. And sometimes I feel very sad for the whole setup like that because I'm sure it will be there in their blood. It cannot go anywhere. But then not cherishing it. But of course, it's their personal choice. But then, sometimes I really feel sad for those people. And also, you never know what is in store for them also, right? Many times I see most of the artists completely leaving this art form and finally getting back at it because that's where they realize they belong to.
But one is interest, right? The other thing also could be survival.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, especially for Indian classical artists, unless you have kind of reached a certain level.
Absolutely.
Let me take that back. Even when you reach a certain level,
It's not easy.
it's not easy to survive as an artist, and especially that became very, very evident during pandemic.
Oh,
You want to share that?
yes. That is when we were like completely shaken. We didn't know whether we will ever get back to the field at all. If there are going to be stage performances or not, don't know, question mark. People just wanted to survive. Who wants entertainment? So this being the entertainment wing of life, this is something that people opt to go for when they're really happy. So we come in the last segment of so it was definitely difficult, I'm for sure. Every single artist, that is when we all we became more dependent on the teaching part of
Teaching part of it.
that only become the survival, I would say.
We also saw, some very renowned artists who have all their life have dedicated and believed that art is their Saraswati, and they never worried about Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Are the ones who actually it almost came to a point of survival.
Yeah.
For a daily meal. And I know, I don't know if I can share this, but I know the foundation, Udupa Foundation,
Yeah.
pitched in, supported many of them at
Yes,
that
we
point.
try to raise fund and
We
provide.
tried to raise fund and this thing. But that was a reality check in a
Yeah.
way that you can be an artist, but
You need to have a plan.
you need to have a platform, you need to have the business acumen as well, isn't it? I mean,
It is. It was, but I just hope that we will never see those days again. But then it was kind of an alarm. It was kind of a restart button. Especially for us, we reached a point where we never thought we would, and everybody had to start from zero.
correct.
But
Okay, Sandhya, I just want to kind of add a point there. You said at that point, you said that entertainment or this art form was at the end in the chain of this thing. But look at it this way, especially the lockdown period, like for those 2 years, there were so many artists who took on to social media. They would have live performances.
oh yes, it was such a beautiful
Right?
way to keep things going. There were so many dance. Until pandemic, I really didn't believe in these online classes at all, because I thought that's impossible. How can music to an extent is okay. How can somebody dance? Of course, my teacher Indiraka had introduced this online teaching way long ago.
Correct.
But then it was not the immediate option for any artist, right? But then that is when we got introduced to this everyday online classes. But it was at least something for us also, because we could still.
Keep that going.
Yes. And I remember there was so many online dance shows that was happening. It was so beautifully thought and curated.
Right? And so for a non-performer, for someone as a viewer, for me, there were few select people, and I would actually I would keep an alarm or a notification saying, hey, so-and-so is performing, or it's going to be a live this thing. And for me, that became a
Normal.
One is norm, but that was also a way to cope.
Yeah.
I mean, so I beg to differ. Your art form was not at the end. It was something that kept
Yeah.
the entire world going.
Absolutely.
Because that was a break too, with all the stress that we had. And art has always been that,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Definitely.
Yes. It's such a beautiful... it's a beautiful emotion. It's a beautiful thing
Yeah.
through which you can emote, you can share So with online becoming more active and more, especially social media today, where your dance pieces that you perform are being put out there, it's reaching a much wider audience. And there's amazing credibility, amazing, interest that's been generated when it comes to your art form. But the flip side of it also is you as an artist spend days and years creating a certain piece and it just gets stolen. Plagiarism.
Yeah.
What's your views on that?
Sad reality. Yeah, this is a big debate among all the artists. In the name of inspiration, how your content is being misused, and without any credibility, people just do it. I think it's being ethical. You need to be true to yourself. Of course, I mean, if I'm able to dance, it's because of the years old format that has been set. So I cannot say that I'm copying Tattadu. Okay, but when it comes to creative pieces, there are certain ethical values that you need to have, and especially when somebody mindfully implement certain things from somebody else's performance, which is absolutely fine. I mean, nobody has created a move by themselves unless you take an inspiration from someone else, right? The inspiration comes different from different people and different performances, so which is absolutely fine. And even if I have created something, I'm sure it might have been created by someone else already. But then it's sad to see few things that has been exactly copied and never given credits to. I'm sure when the person faces the similar situation, they will definitely understand.
So, inspiration, copying, it's easy to catch when it comes to vocals, right? Or music.
Yes.
But it's difficult when it comes to dance.
See, in music, I think also I'm not very sure of this particular thing, but then uh, s- copying is not the right word, unless because it's such a wider world altogether. But in dance, what happens is the movement make it very obvious that you're trying to copy. Because we use a lot of our physical bodies, it's kind of become quite obvious when we replicate the moves. On the other hand, I also have to add, it's unfortunate that if you are putting certain things on a social media, you should be ready for all these coming,
It's part and parcel.
It's part and parcel of it.
Because, sorry, go ahead.
And I think sometimes I feel good. Okay, take it. We have become your inspiration or whatever. So,
Because sometime back I was listening to an interview by a musician, classical musician, and he said on the same very topic, he said, listen, the core of it comes from those sa, re, ga, ma, pa, those notes.
yeah.
It's how you modulate, and everything stems from that.
Correct.
This thing. So when it comes to music, you will find similarities.
Yes.
You will find this thing, but blatantly copying
Yes.
and saying that it's their.
And sometimes you cannot even live with all these copyrights. It's sad, especially for a dancer. The saddest part is when they copy the music without consent. We invest a lot to get the music recording done in the studios. It's a lot for a dancer.
Correct.
And as a dancer, we also do perform in places where sometimes you're not being paid at all, and we are still asked to go with live musicians, which is like a lot for a dancer to survive. But these Sabha concerts are something that gives you a lot of push and validation for the artist that you are. And sometimes when the studio recorded music is completely copied, there are people who copy your music on their devices and just go and perform the same. That is where it is disheartening to see.
That's where you draw the line.
That is something that is really, really not fair, But then, how much can we copyright also? Once I remember, if you know Ravichandra Kulur, he once said, if Tyagaraja had put copyright for everything, what will people sing today? Right?
True.
Yeah.
So slightly more technical. I don't know, maybe technical or not. So, like we were earlier in the previous episode, we were talking about Ramayana depiction, interpretation of Ramayana in our own way, right, as an artist. When it comes to dance, right, of course you do, I'm sure you have books on Natya
Yes.
that's been written and stuff like that. But for a layman like me, the first reference point for me when it comes to dance is our beautiful temples and architecture,
Yes.
this thing.
Yeah.
How much of that influences you, or is there a basis? Did somewhere someone said, okay, we went to, let's say, Konark, and we saw this, or any of our temples, right? And you see that whole Natya being depicted end to end. So do you pick inspirations in terms of, do you pick things from there, or is that influenced in some way?
Somebody once explained, I don't remember exactly who it was, how the sculptures, the painting, and the dance. So how were the sculptures made? Looking at a dancer. So a dancer would have stood in a particular way, the Karanas, as explained by Padma Subramaniam ji. So it's so interlinked. So any posture that we take is definitely an inspiration from there. And for me personally, when I go to temples and see sculptures, my interior designer part of it will come out, and I will see the other aspect of the whole structure itself. Inspiration wise, for me, it is always, you never know from
Very.
where the inspiration comes from, okay? If sometimes, for me, I think it's a nature. Is something that immediately triggers me, okay, this is so beautiful, this can be included in the movement and things like that. So for your question about the sculptures, for me it's a different window that opens in my mind on, because we study about all these inner history of interior designing. So yeah.
Okay. So, but still, when you look at a sculpture, wow, and it might inspire you in a different way, but you're talking about nature, you're saying that, okay, the movement of the waves.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you bring that in your
Right.
this thing? And there's inspiration everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's how you take it and make it your own
Yeah.
is where sets you
Absolutely.
apart in the thing. So for someone who's physically able to take up an art form like dance is relatively easy compared to someone who has a physical disability.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But also this is such an art form that even they can.
Yeah.
Right? You want to throw some light on that and say,
So there is a great teacher called Pasha, who has actually experimented this, and they do such a great job. Sometimes I tell my students that God has given you everything, and how we don't make use of it, right? So especially after watching them perform Bharatanatyam itself, they are such an inspiration, and Pasha sir has proved it that it's not only for physically abled. That's the best part about it. And I would say they take it more seriously and they're more devoted than people who are like absolutely fit and fine. So I remember when we do this, our Udupa Foundation monthly concerts, we had been once to a place called, I think it's called Sandhya Udupa in somewhere in Whitefield or somewhere. So I did see two dancers. They were partially blind and two of them completely blind, performing a proper Bharatanatyam. What else do you need? My kids watch them and they've been trained in Bharatanatyam.
Wow.
It's something that I really try to bring them to our studio, and if at all, if they require any help in taking it forward, but then it became quite challenging for them to travel and come and learn from us, from wherever I live.
So I mean, that's the beauty of the art form,
Absolutely.
right? And there is no barrier. There is no barrier, physical barrier, emotional barrier.
No.
There is no religious barrier. I know so many dancers, classical dancers, who are not even Hindus,
Yeah.
right?
When we travel, we see so many dancers outside India who love this art form, and there are so many dancers from USA who have perceived it and taken this as a profession.
Ramli Ibrahim.
Yes.
Ramli Ibrahim ji has taken that to a next level,
Yeah.
right? So I think people have to stop putting that into
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
thing of saying, Bharatanatyam or Indian classical form is only for for Hindus or
Yeah, it's nobody's, it's we, if I thank many times to be, to have born as an artist, and especially in the South India, and such a place with rich culture, and so I don't think so it is anybody's.
I mean it's not restricted. It's not saying that it's only belongs
Yeah.
to a certain
It's in Kannada, Yarappanastinu alla.
Yarappan Astino, correct? Correct. So Sanjay, on the previous episode also, we kind of spoke about how the art form has evolved, right? Especially Bharatanatyam has how it started with smaller gatherings to a large format. Now it's kind of going back to the smaller this thing. But over a period of time, when you see, especially in our Indian, any classical this thing, there has always been, I'm trying to be very sensitive here in putting this, but there's always been a gender bias, right? I mean, this especially kind of hit me hard because, of course, thanks to you guys, I've had the privilege of shooting so many such amazing artists, dancers, musicians over the period of time at Udupa Foundation and outside. At one point, I thought, okay, let me put a book together or a calendar just to put. Then I suddenly realized that there are more male artists than female artists. Why is that? So the reason why I'm asking is I wanted to kind of go back in time and kind of share how it was, because I'm sure there is a root to it.
I really don't know. I don't have an exact answer for this. But sometimes when you say certain things or do certain things repeatedly, it becomes a truth. So it's like, when you keep saying that it's only, for example, Bharatanatyam is said to be a female dominant. And, people fight to make it male dominant or equalize and all of that. So for me, my question is, so where do you say that? Where are we dominating? The opportunities are being created for everybody and anybody. And if you really think that, it has been dominated by a female artist, then there has to be a reason, right? Then maybe many male artists are not pursuing it.
Yeah.
You never know. If you go in depth study of it, then you will get the exact statistic that you want to show it to the world. But then I feel many times you keep saying that, you keep fighting for it and make it a truth, will not actually make it the fact.
Huh.
So I really don't think that it is being dominant by any of these genders, but it purely is based on the merit, as in your art has to speak out for you, and I do feel that, as you said, that it is male dominant, especially in when it comes to music. Many times I do fight with Giri that why are you inviting only male artists, and I make sure that at least there is one female.
Correct.
But having said that, if there is really anybody, we will have, for example, at least I can speak out for ourselves. We have never thought it that way, right? We will never think that, okay, we want only male artists. We don't want, it was never the fact. So when you curate something, if there is a requirement, we will always look out for. So I can speak out for ourselves being organizers. That is not the truth.
So as organizers, maybe not, right? But then there is also that, you look for a certain quality,
Exactly.
right? When I say quality in terms of talent, in terms of, someone who's well versed in this. Now, when you look at one particular generation, the previous generation, you will see that there were more male musicians than female musicians. But we also know for a fact that, I don't want to take names, but we know for a fact that the wife was a much better artist than, you know who I'm talking about. And they took a back seat, or they were not given that opportunity to grow.
Yeah, if you're talking about that generation, yes, I do agree.
I'm talking about that generation.
Yes, I do agree, because we all know the fact. We all know how it used to be, how it worked. And sometimes I also feel that these days women become more rebellious because of the experience that they have seen their older generation, right? So it's not wrong also sometimes when I see few people being feminists and fighting for the rights, because they would have seen their mothers and their sisters taken backseat when it comes to a performing art form.
Correct.
So I think it is sad. We really feel. I think there were movies that were released also. Like I think in one of the movies, series. I think Bandish Bandit or something, where she was like kind of sidelined. So it did happen, but I think now it's going the other way.
It's changing, but it's going the other way.
Other way, as I said, if I personally have to fight for it, I will fight for it. Just because it has happened for someone else, we need not really make it a big havoc about it. Because we can always, because now we have the medium to speak out loud, and we do have that accessibility, unlike before. But yes, if you're talking about the older generation, it is really sad that people were not given the freedom to expose their talents. And
one is the talent. You spoke about Tyagaraja Kirtanas and this thing. Right? Today, if anyone in the Carnatic music has achieved something, is because of his
absolutely
beautiful, Kirtanas, the music and all that he created. But until a point, until few decades ago, his samadhi was virtually buried. Nobody even bothered to.
Yeah.
And the person who was responsible for the revival of Carnatic music, revival of his samadhi, was a lady.
Yeah.
And how many of them actually even know that?
Yeah.
Right? And that's rather unfortunate.
Yeah.
Just take a pause there. What was the name? Shit, how can I...
This is what
Yeah, I know. See, again, I'm having a brain freeze. Bangalore Nagaratnam.
Correct.
Right? So if you were to look back, the very reason why there was a revival of Carnatic music, or, rebuilding the samadhi of Tyagaraja, was because of that one lady who was Bangalore Nagaratnam, who gave everything that she owned to. And again, she's pushed into oblivion. But I'm glad that things are changing. But again, the concern that you said is it's going the other way around.
Yeah, because just because one has to fight, if everybody just become rebellious, I would say, at least people who who are surrounding me, the men, are at least not that way, right? Giri is not like that. My father is not like that. You are not like that. So I need not fight for it. And people who need support, we can support them. I hear many of my younger generation, they are like, they kind of become rebellious because of all these experiences that they've heard about. So my only point is, we need not fight unless it is necessary and make it a big deal out of it. We can always deal it gently, and only when
Required.
when it is required.
Fight for the right cause.
That's it.
Okay. But so Sandhya, another thing that which I would definitely want to talk about with you is the Udupa Foundation, right? I'm sure in close circles, a lot of people know this, but very few people outside are aware. Apart from the biannual concerts that you organize, there's so much more that you are doing, right? Having these small concerts, promoting young artists. But it is not just that. You are taking this art form to schools, to smaller places, to keep the interest alive. You want to talk a bit more on that side of the foundation. Why are you doing that? Why is there a need for it?
So when we started Udupa Foundation, it is Giri's dream to create something like this. And for him, his biggest inspiration is his father, who is a synonymous for simplicity again. Okay, and this is not something that I've heard just from my husband, but then the entire music fraternity talks about how simple a guy he was. And he came from a village in somewhere near Kundapura. And when he came to Bangalore, and it was not an easy task because he came to Bangalore and settled in Bangalore just for music, to pursue his music. Okay, so the inspiration comes from him, like how he struggled to sustain as a musician till he played music. And the main motivation also for Giri is that he wanted to introduce Carnatic music to every part of the world. So this is where it started. How do you raise fund? It's, how tough a task it is, through inviting musicians to perform for us. And by that we conducted Udupa Music Festival. And we are so blessed to have the best of the best in the field who acknowledged to come and perform for us by raising fund. So, as you said, Udupa Music Festival is one event that we do to raise fund. But then what do we do with that is something that is more closer to our hearts. Yeah. So, as you know, performing in a bigger audience, bigger stage, and a technically perfect stage is one aspect of an artist's life. But the other one is when you go and perform in the places where they're not privileged to have access to these art forms, is something that is really, really closer to me and Giri, I'm sure. So the love, the attention that we get when we go and perform for them is, Mayur, something that I cannot explain. Every time we come back, we are in tears.
Give me some examples of places.
So,
Karuna share.
So, yeah, I mean, so I think we crossed about 150 concerts recently. One of the experience that I must share, this is somewhere near Kolar. So in that village, I think not more than 100 houses over there. So we went. I went with my team, and I think there was also a music concert before ours, which was again from our team. So we all went in a tempo traveler, and we were given a house. Okay. see how much my students also learned from this. There is so much takeaway for them also. They were surprised to see there was no flooring. There was no flooring tile. It was just the mud, and they tried to, level it through cow dung. That was our green room, and that's a house where the person lives. Okay, there was one toilet. The door was something that we were not able to lock as such. That is where we all got ready. And then, so the next to it is a stage. Such a beautiful stage they had made. Apparently, they built it for us. Of course, now it exists forever. But then that was a first concert ever in that village happened. I mean, first classical music and dance concert that happened. And so beautifully, what happened? All of us were made to come. So they introduced us, and all the people from the village, they were sitting. They introduced us, and we were walking towards the stage. The least we expected, they did. People stood on either side of the stage, on the path, and they all had flowers in their hand. As and then we walked, they were pouring flowers to our feet.
So beautiful.
This is something that I will never ever forget, and my students also really cherish this moment. And I told them this is something that has never happened in my life, right? And you are getting to experience this. Is itself, we were all in tears. Who can shower so much love? In the cities, can we even expect something like this? And till we were about 20 people, till all 20 people walked, they kept doing this. This is one of the stories I'm saying. And in another place where we had been to a old age home, there was this old lady. She just held my hand and she cried because apparently her grandchild would have been of my age. And she said, I consider this your feat, and please come and perform for us. And apparently that was the first time they were entertained as such. So these are the things that keep us going. There is no way we have ever stopped organizing these concerts from last 10 years, because yes, music festival is there. Yes. Okay, people who come, they are entertained, they pay money for that, and they've been entertained, and that is where our main source is. But then to do this every single time, because how we organize the festival, which is a big task, because we both are performing artists and Giri works day and night to manage that. There are many times where we question, and for him especially, the question comes, do we really have to do this? Being an artist, do we really have to organize a festival like this? But the answer is always yes, because we get to experience something like this.
Something so beautiful. Because for me, like you said, the festival is just the source.
Yeah.
What you, Giri, and the entire team.
Oh.
I know
our
how.
Team is.
They're like you said.
You know them.
Right? Tirelessly, silently, they work in the back. But what you guys are giving back, nothing can compare to what you guys are doing, because I have experienced that. I have spoken to people who come and say, ಯಾರು ಕೇಳೋರಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ, ಬಟ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಬಂದು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, that's more than enough. And that kept them going for such a long time.
Yeah.
Right? And there are places where you have performed, and I would have visited, like for example, Karunashraya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? That was one of the first places that where you performed, where the Udupa team went and performed. Months later, I was there, and we were generally talking, and this whole performance. Then one of the people who was there, final stages of cancer, and we were just talking. He came and said that. He's like, ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಅದೊಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಅದೇನು ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, that kept us going for so long. And that is the beauty of it. That is the beauty of music. That's the beauty of this art form that you are pursuing. And
I'm sure giving concerts in the places where you have multiple options, should I go there or here? Should I go? So audience are overfed also sometimes. And these are the places audience just keep their ears wide open, eyes wide open, and they are ready to listen to you. And these are the places that actually for an artist is a required audience. We want people like them.
correct. So, you feel fulfilled.
Very much. And I'm sure many of the people who have, of course, Speak McKay has been doing this, performing in the schools. And here, as you said in Karunashraya, just imagine you have an audience who may be there for the next 2 days or 3 months or 1 year. How do you feel? You feel completely fulfilled and gratifying. That experience is absolutely gratifying.
Correct. And so one is that. The other thing is you're also, the team goes and performs in schools.
Yeah.
And you are kind of planting a seed.
Yeah.
You never know where the talent is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Some kid gets inspired. Even out of that 100 performances, if one kid gets inspired,
that's it. We do try to motivate them and tell them to, let us know if there is any kid who would be interested to pursue this as full-time. We are ready to even help them learn this art form. So we also have that particular objective in our foundation. So,
Sandhya, I just want to leave our audience with this beautiful feeling that it is I'm feeling at this moment. I just want to pause there because there is a lot more that we want to talk, but it's been an amazing, soul-fulfilling conversation. Let me put it that way. Thanks for doing this. It's been an amazing experience.
Thank you so much for having me here in Mojo Talks. You yourself has been an inspiring person for many of us because I know that you're also into the venture of Puru.
Yes.
Which I think you can just remain as a photographer and do your job. But then you nurturing art, kind of creating the stage for the artist itself defines what you are. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sandhya. And the inspiration for Puru comes from you guys. So it's vice versa. But thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
For all of you out there, I just want to leave you with this thought. We never know where your mojo will strike. So keep that mojo alive.